Grand Rising. Welcome back to another episode of Brainstorm Studio. I am your host, Andrew Golden. And today I'm with a musician. What the heck? I have not had someone who does music um, it ever actually on this show, besides myself. Yeah, no, we haven't had Nick Pants on here yet. So, you know, the way, I'm here with Mr. Goose or Josiah Thompson, aka um, aka Starvation Cage, many names, a man of many names. And we met. I watched him do a show and I bought a piece of merch and we just like got each other's Instagram and then that was pretty much it. And when you get to meet another creator, someone who creates something of some kind, it's fun to support stuff. And like I've been to a couple shows and this man was watching Daily Ownership and the rest is history. You kind of get to talking after that. So, Mr. Goose, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. How's it going?
Dude, I'm amazing, bro. I'm doing fantastic. I'm just
Here, bro.
happy to be doing another pod, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, dude. It's complete honor. Stoked to be
Yeah,
here.
dude. It's dope. And I mean, I like to make it, kind of laid back. We're not like, it's not like, so Goose, what was the most fucked up part of your childhood? Like,
I mean, we can get into that if you want. I mean,
dude, hey, man, we get into real shit on here. So, you know, we might, man. But I know you kind of well, and I actually don't even know your story. I don't know your origin story, so to speak. I don't know the lore of
yeah,
Starvation Cage. So, if you could give us, 5-10 minute kind of overview or background story of, your life, man. Like where'd you come from? Where'd you live when you grew up? And, how'd you get to where you are now?
absolutely. Yeah, so I'm Goose, Starvation Cage, born and raised in Sacramento, California. Actually born in Folsom, but grew up in Sacramento. I it's odd. I wasn't really introduced to noise music until I'd say my freshman year in high school. I grew up listening to like punk and a lot of shit like that because my dad. Um, I don't know. I feel like I latched onto that because of the message, and I didn't have too many friends growing up. I was really
Yeah.
secluded, and I felt pretty alone in my early elementary years. So I was like, yeah, punk music. This is like weird. I'm weird. And then going into high school, I had a friend pass away, and I'd say was my introduction to noise music. He he had a project. I couldn't tell you what it was off the top of my head. I remember going to his house and he was jamming on shit that it looked like stuff you would like use to make a bomb. It was like homemade gear,
Yeah.
shaker boxes, and I'm like, I've never heard of this stuff. It's all like foreign to me at this time. And I'm like hearing him record in the other room, and I'm like, dude, this is trash. Like, you know, and then, fast forward like 4 or 5 years, I'm doing it. This is what I do for a living, and it's crazy. Like, all it took was like having someone very close to me pass, and I'm like, I'm here.
Yeah. And you said you kind of were drawn to it because of the message of punk. To you, what does the message of punk actually mean? Like, because it could be individual. It's kind of like up to interpretation.
Yeah. Growing up, I listened to a lot of bands that preached just do what you want as long as it's not hurting someone else. Follow your own rules. Do what makes you happy. A lot of people that preach that like being an outcast isn't really a bad thing. It's like do what makes you happy. Um, probably spitballing here, but yeah, stuff like it's really not a bad thing to be an outsider. It might feel sucky, but like you're not alone. And like I really grabbed hard to that message, and then I got hard into the like death metal and the harder stuff, and I feel like it just snowballed. I'm like I need the
Uh-oh.
I spend however long you want on it.
Hold on. Hey, you like cut out for the last probably 30 or 40 seconds.
Oh damn.
Yeah. You were talking about like, you like got into, you know, punk. I don't know. I was like focused on like, oh shit, the Wi-Fi went out.
Oh yeah, that's my
But
bad. Sorry about that.
no, you're good, bro. But just like rewind like 30 seconds. We can always edit. We can edit it too. So don't worry.
I was just saying, yeah, I was just looking for the next extremity. Like, I started with punk, like Black Flag, early '90s hardcore bands, and then as I got older, I was like, wow, I need something extremer. So I was like, hardcore, death metal, and
Yeah.
then like by the time I reached, I want to say the ending of senior year, I'm like, all right, noise music wasn't too big of an understanding, but I was like, I'll fuck around because I understood there wasn't really too much of a rules or guidelines to follow on it. Like, let's say you start a punk band, you gotta make sure everyone's on the same page. Everyone's got to know how to play an instrument. It's like there's certain guidelines you got to follow with this shit. And then with noise music, you can spend like 3 minutes recording something and then just release it. And that's what I like. There's no real guidelines or anything you got to follow with this, and it's all up to your interpretation.
Yeah. And that's why I love it so much as well. I think dude, I'm not completely sure, but the first time I became interested in noise music was when I saw your show,
Yeah,
because I was just like, yo, what the hell? Like, it's literally just like a couple noises, and you
right.
just like go ham with them basically.
I
And what really drew me into it though was that it was just pure expression. And I picked up on that immediately. And like, that's what I'm big on. I think that music and art is just one of the most pure form of expressions that there is. And when it's something like, when there's something that gives you the vehicle to express your emotions, whether they be, negative or positive, so easily, like noise music does, it's really, you know, it really is attractive to me, at least. And I think that's why a lot of people, there's a small group of people that actually understand that, you know?
right. And I think that's why it's been so kind of well received. I mean, I've started, just like you said, this has been sort of your first experience into noise. And I've gotten that a lot. Like my shows have been like people's first noise shows. And like I've started out playing shows that weren't like noise shows. Like I've jumped on bills where it's like punk bands and shit
Yeah.
like that. Like people don't expect to see some shirtless guy just going crazy on stage. But it's cool that I have that opportunity to expose people to this, like something they might never have the opportunity to, or maybe they might not want to. I don't know, but yeah, I'm glad that I have that chance to expose someone to that. And yeah, I like to look at it as it's like I can't afford therapy. I'm not someone with health insurance, so like this is my form of therapy. I mean, whatever I do on stage is like I got to get all that pent up anger, childhood shit, whatever, this out.
Yeah.
I'm like,
100%.
yeah, by any means necessary. So like, no real physical harm, but like, just go like totally wild. Like yeah, standing on tables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, like what really got me, like, I was paying attention the whole time during the first time I saw you, but I realized the full depth of what was actually going on when you were like on the thing where you're like twisting, it goes,
Yeah.
that thing. What, hold on, what is that called, first of all?
So I can grab it real quick if you'd like.
Please. Yeah, I'd love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see that.
Excuse me. Okay. So it is an auto stemp synthesizer,
Okay.
handmade by Michael, I believe, Rookie out of Oakland, California. And
Nice.
yeah, it's a power switch and then volume, tone, and then everything else. This was my first piece of gear. I only had that and then distortion pedal, and I used that for my very first shows. I still haven't quite figured out all of the ways around it, but it's a powerful little fucker.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. But yeah, you were using that, and you started to like bang on the table like fuck,
Yeah,
fuck. You're like banging it like you were mad at it, dude. And I was like, yo, like this is dope, dude.
I believe, and I've had this conversation with noise musicians, and I've been called pretentious for this, but I believe like in this extremity of a genre, like if there's no emotion behind your performance or your music, whatever you're releasing, it just comes off as like it's fake to me. It's like they're like you don't have to get on the stage and do what I do per se, but if there's like no real level, if I can't feel You know what I'm saying? Like if I can't feel like the atmosphere of what you're creating, I don't want to fuck with it.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I totally get that, man. You know, I have experienced noise shows. The one that we did recently, I won't like name any names, but it was like, it was the first guy that went up and it was like, pretty, like he did good, but there was like nothing the whole time. He's just
Yeah,
standing there, like literally just standing.
I got respect for those guys because most of them are my buddies. But yeah, it's like I can't feel it. I can't get into it. It's like it's like when someone's speaking and they're just monotone the whole time.
Yeah.
There's no excitement.
Yeah, 100%. There needs to be more energy in it for me to really get it down. Like, dude, literally, like I don't know if this was I don't know if anyone's ever done this for at a noise show, but like literally during the first guy's set, I actually meditated because
I
like
saw
it was so chill, dude. It was so chill. I was like, this is actually perfect meditation music. I'm gonna just rock it.
it's peaceful, but I feel like the expression of some emotion there would have brought it, like elevated it to like
Mm-hmm.
a more level of appreciation from the crowd. And I just noticed when you put more like a level of emotion into your work, whether it's performance or releases or anything for that matter, like you don't even have to do it in like musically. It's like there's and like you succeed and you achieve whatever that is, like you finish playing the show, you release that record or like whatever it is, you feel so much better, like because you got it out of you. And it's like I cannot express like that I wouldn't say the feeling of success, but just feeling like you feel like you accomplished something great.
Yeah, 100%. And to look at that from another lens, thinking if you didn't, like if I was watching your shows and you didn't express emotion, I would be uninterested. I'd be like, this is just random ass noise, bro. And
Right.
also, I don't think we've even explained it for the viewer. Noise music is literally just like anything.
Yeah.
It's like anything that makes noise. It could be static. It could be like a freaking like ear deafening beeping noise. It could be, it could be a beat with just random noises on it, but uh it's not traditional music and most people it doesn't have a big following, I would say.
It does not. It's funny. I joke around to people and I say this genre has more projects than it does fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I joke, I say, have you ever seen those ASMR TikTok things?
I know ASMR is, but
Yeah, I joke and I say that the best way to describe noise music is like you blow into one of those microphones.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm like even more uh fascinated with the idea after the last show just because I think with being a noise musician you don't have to actually be good, and so I'm like, dude, I can do this. I want to do this, bro. Like I can make random crappy noises and make it sound good actually. Like,
Right.
and I can definitely put some emotion into it. um you know I'll just share it because like I don't, if someone wants to come to my show, I'll be posting on the gram. But basically what I'm gonna do is, well, there's two ideas that I have. I'm gonna do like, that how that guy gave me a contact mic.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm gonna attach a contact mic, which is well, I'm explaining for the viewer here. It's a microphone. It's basically a wire that's attached to like a 12 fucking millimeter outlet jack or whatever, and there's like a wire on it that picks up on the vibrations of whatever instrument's going on. So um I can put it inside of my didgeridoo and I can play it and it picks up on the noise and it makes it really loud and sound crazy. And so I was doing that here. I have like all the stuff to do it. And I know how to make some cool noises on there. And I can even like speak into the didgeridoo and use it as a microphone too.
Yeah.
So I can like do beatboxing or just like say random stuff. And then also I've got this right here, the chord
Oh,
polka drum.
there
And
you
I've made some very interesting songs on there that sound a lot like noise music, and I just didn't know it at the time.
there you go. Hell yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go hard on that, and we'll just see what happens. The idea that I have to set myself apart a little bit is I'm gonna bring a TV when I do it and attach it to my laptop, and then either pre-record something or do it live where I'll be on like um, Microsoft Paint and I'll be typing stuff and drawing stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably pre-record it because it'd be kind of hard to do it while I'm
Yeah.
performing. But like, I'm gonna pre-record it and just like type stuff, and that's how I'll talk to the audience while I'm doing my performance, and
That
like
would.
make put up memes and stuff, and yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be good, dude. I'm excited.
So that's the
I think
beauty of.
people I think people will really like the idea of where there's like something of a visual to go with the
Right.
music.
That's I like to look at it that way. That it's like a performance art. It's like it's a more visual than it is like a regular show per se. Like you go to listen to the music, but with noise music, it's more of a visual experience. I'd say. So I'd say that'd be perfect.
I think so too, because I've gotten noise music CDs from people before, and like, man, I tried to listen to it, but I'm like, it's not the same, bro.
It's not. I
It's
mean,
not the
unless
same.
if you're really like a true diehard noise fan, then that's your shit.
Yeah, yeah, for real. Well, I mean, you should. I would actually listen to your stuff if you did all of your devices in one set. That'd be dope. You should. You should
I've
do
been
that.
thinking about that. I Most of my shows have been played with most, if not the same exact setup, which is just two distortion pedals and that shaker box which I used at the last show Wednesday
Yeah.
night. I'm playing a show tomorrow morning as a new project, Shared Suffering, which is completely different from Starvation Cage. I don't know gear wise what's the okay. So let me, for more context, what differs is the recordings. It's a lot more emotional, personal, a lot of vulnerabilities in play here. Um, Gear wise, I'm not sure what to do because I've never played live with this project. I do like the idea that you have pitched at the show, like lining all my gear up and just go to town.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Try
that could be
something new.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%, man. But yeah, if you put that on Spotify, I would probably listen to that when I'm in my most extreme moods.
Right. It's funny. It sounds I'm not often good at giving advice, but I do recommend noise music to people that are like, oh, I'm anxious right now or I'm stressed
Hmm.
because I'll turn that shit on and it pulls me out of that shit so fast. And I noticed like, I mean, I've been diagnosed with like anxiety problems and shit. So I noticed that is the only thing that can like draw my attention out of that. Like if I'm in like a manic episode or like I'm really depressed, like that really pulls me out. And I'm like, damn, I gotta make some of this.
Yeah, 100%. I feel I would add on to that and say I agree. 100%.
Yeah. Awesome.
Like, dude, I desperately want a living situation where I can have a bunch of uncut wood and I can fucking chop wood with a big ass axe
Right.
to just get everything out, man. Like,
Right.
just totally transparently, like I'm not an anxious or like honestly depressed person, but I do get like frustrated, where usually what I'll do to get my frustration out is just go on a run or something and just get
Right.
so tired, that I'm not frustrated. I don't care anymore and just
Yeah.
face it like that. Like I'll literally go run with no music on, and like you become the most raw, like down to the core version of yourself when you're like pushing yourself, you know?
Exactly.
So,
I Before noise, I don't know how vulnerable this is, but I struggle with anxiety. Have my whole life. I don't know why, where it comes from. Uh, but I used to walk around the neighborhood. I would do like 13 miles in one night, just walking in
yeah.
circles. And I'm like, okay, I got to do like something else. So I picked up noise music, and I'm like, okay, I still be walking around the block, but not. It's not like 13 miles or anything like that. I'll do like maybe like 5, but I'll record like an album, then like go for a walk, and whole night is changed.
Yeah. 100%. I can totally vibe with that. Yeah, man. So okay, let's get into the deep stuff, man. Let's get into the deep,
Let's do it.
deep, 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 deep. Um, when you say that you have this new project and you're going to be getting into more vulnerable things, like, you know, what are some of the things that you're going to be like tapping into? Is there a specific story, that or something like, what's actually going on? If you're like, if you don't mind sharing, it's like most of what this podcast is it's not so much about what you do, it's about who you are as a person. And you're like,
Right.
I think that someone that leans so deeply into noise music, there's a reason, like, so I mean, yeah.
Yes, that's a great question. Yes, I can grab the CD if you want to see it actually
Sure.
too.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was the first CD I did, A Shared Suffering. It's going to be available tomorrow at the show. It's a little 3-inch CD. But yeah, so with this project, my parents divorced when I was 12. My mom cheated on my dad.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to get into on here because there's
It
there's a
doesn't
lot
really matter.
of
Not a lot of people. I only have a couple people watching this stuff anyways. So it really just depends on like who you're going to share it with.
right. But yeah, anyway, she tried to take us away from my dad. He had no idea where we were. Um, we ended up coming back, and I told him everything. I was like, yeah, she took us away for a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, and so pretty much, and then the final kicker was my dad remarried, and then my mom, my biological mom, she's like, I don't want to be a mom anymore. She's checking out. And my dad and my stepmom, my now stepmom, gave her the option of she said she wanted to give full custody to my stepmom, and they gave her the option of, okay, here's 6 months to think about the decision of giving your kids up. I'm the oldest of four, by the way.
Yeah.
So there's four others she's like thinking about giving up. So yeah, they gave her 6 months to think about the decision because that's a pretty hefty one, and she made up her mind in 2 weeks, and she's like, fuck it, they're not mine anymore. And
Dang,
so pretty
bro.
much with that decision and with everything that I had to go through with that divorce and everything with my mom, it's just like unprocessed mommy issues and
I feel it,
family
bro.
drama. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. And like I can relate because I'm the oldest out of four kids as well, biologically. Now I'm
Yeah.
the oldest out of six because like my mom remarried with a guy that had two kids, right? So and like, they're family, right? Like they're not, I don't really consider them like stepkids, they're family. So like I literally am the oldest out of four as well. That's kind of cool that we can relate on that. But essentially what happened with me that's kind of similar is like my parents got divorced when I was like 14, I think. And then one day I was told at night, when you wake up, go straight to Jonah's house, which is my friend lived like down the street. And so I was like, hell yeah, like I get to go to Jonah's house, let's go.
Pretty,
And then
yeah.
like I just like went. And then my mom called me when I was there and she was like, so this was happening. We got divorced. Your dad's gonna come looking for you, and you're not allowed to go with him. Like, don't go with him.
Fun.
And I was like, what? No way. Like, like the emotions that come after that, and so like my dad did come looking for me, and it was like the most like I was like, I feel like I need to go with him, but my mom said I can't go with him, and like what's going like, oh sure,
Good
so
point.
yeah, and so that I didn't, I just got depressed when I was like a kid, like I was just basically like, I don't, didn't really feel like I could express myself a whole lot. And so like the thing that brought me out of that was like smoking weed and everything. So, long story after that, but I can relate with you, man. And like, do you think that do you think that as a mother making that decision that it's like cowardly, or do you think that she had a justification?
I that's a great question. That's a really good question. I'd like to think, I don't know, on the same, I think it's 50-50. On one hand, I think like she was making decisions that weren't fit, she was making decisions that weren't decisions a mother should make. And because of those decisions, the living environment where our kids would stay wasn't safe. It wasn't, you know, um it wasn't a safe environment at all. So I think on one hand it was a smart decision, but on the other hand, I think it was like just an easy way out per se, if that
Yeah,
makes sense. Like,
100%.
I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like at the same time, you could argue that it's just, you know, you're an adult now. Got a big girl, got to put her pants on. Like, come on now. It's like you made these decisions and now you're like you got to deal with the consequences whether you like it or not. And that's like it sucks though because it's like I bet you if she watched you guys grow up, then she would have like been appreciative of it, you know?
Well, That's one thing I've wondered. I'm like, doesn't she think about us? Or when I turned 18, I got a message from her on Instagram saying something like, I miss you, happy birthday. And I'm like, what?
That's weird. Yeah.
Wait, 18 years? Tell me that.
Yeah, right.
But
Yeah, I mean, she probably feels like, I mean, dude, she's a mom. She literally feels like that maternal connection to probably all of you guys. You the most probably because she had you the longest.
yeah, I
That's a heavy hitter, bro.
for sure,
That's
man.
a heavy hitter.
It,
So, okay, we know some of the background. Know some of the background. So tell me about the story. Like, give me the story of your very first noise show or your very first show that you performed at. What's that story?
I got you. It was a fun one. So, are you familiar with the Audio Nerd in Rockland, the record
Yep.
store?
Hmm.
Okay, cool. It was a show I booked. It was actually a little over a year ago. It was June 2nd, 2022. Uh,
Nice.
it was, I only was doing noise, I want to say since yeah, that February. I started doing noise in February, and June 2nd was my first show, and it was at the Audio Nerd. I remember I played with a couple other local acts, and yeah, it did not go as planned. It was broad daylight, so I feel like shows in the daylight are just like they're awkward. It's like I don't know.
I know what you're talking about. Like,
Especially
shouldn't we be at work right now? Like, wait, what's going on? Like, I feel like I need to go get some coffee or something. Like,
yeah, it was weird. It's like broad daylight. I'm convulsing on stage in the middle of the day. And but it was cool. Overall, everything went good. And then they really liked the performance. They asked us to come back. I played another show there, and then it's just been go since then.
yeah, 100%. So, hmm, to someone, if you were speaking to somebody that wants to do noise music but is like afraid of, being, you know, just afraid of like actually executing on that thought and making it happen, or maybe they're afraid of going up on stage in front of people and showing their most deepest self. Like, as someone who's been doing it for over a year, like, what would you have to say to that? Like, what advice would you give to someone who really wants to do it but they have a self-limiting belief holding them back?
That's actually something I'm working on myself. For the longest time, when I first started playing shows, I'm someone with like terrible social anxiety. Like I don't talk to people. I, it's not nothing personal. Like I
Yeah.
shake in public, and like I would get on stage and like almost piss my pants because anxiety. I'd be shaking my whole set. And it's like there's little things I've been able to figure out along the way to like just make the path a little easier. So like advice I would give is like thoroughly practice your set, the leading up to the show. Don't I notice a couple like musicians like because we have so much gear, they'll pack up like 2 weeks before and like just have it sitting out. And I'm like, practice up until the very last minute. And that way the confidence is through the roof, and
Hmm.
your execution is going to be solid. And just it sounds stupid, but breathing techniques like
Yeah.
in, like step outside before the show, fresh air, that's going to be your best friend. And like before the show and after, you're going to some fresh air. um I'd say I don't know, I'm biased on this because I drink. I'd say alcohol, like that liquid courage.
Yeah, it
If you
helps.
It does, but a little goes a long way. You don't want to have too much. You might knock your teeth out.
That's funny because, like, on Wednesday, like, you were like 2 beers deep and you're like, crap, we're not starting till 9. And I literally I leaned over to you and I was like, yeah, that gives you an hour to drink like 2 more beers. And you're like, yeah, what the hell? Like, what are they doing to me over here?
Yeah, that was funny. But yeah,
Yeah, dude.
it's funny. I do get hit up on Instagram, people asking for advice, like where do I get started? What gear do I use? And it's like gear wise, for getting started, anything you want, as long as
Yeah.
it's like you can plug it into an amp and it makes sound, you're chilling. But as far as like excuse me, performing and like stage fright, I noticed there's a guy I played with at I played a festival last year down in Sacramento. There's this guy that flew up from Florida. He's a good buddy of mine, Human Fluid Rot, he plays, I think he struggles with similar anxiety issues as I, and he plays facing like back towards the crowd, so he can't see the audience. And I've thought about doing that a couple times, and that's something I've spoke to him about, and he says has really helped him. Um, so maybe that's something people can look into doing as well.
That'd be cool, actually. That's a cool
Yeah,
angle, for a noise show.
right. Well, his
Yeah,
shows are wild. Like he'll be like back turned to the crowd, and people jump on him, and it's
that's
crazy.
wild. That's wild. I love that. Yeah, I would not like people jumping on me, but yeah. Nice.
It's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, dude. I love that. I love that, bro. So, all right. So where does what does the future look like for your shows? I know that, you know, life wise, you might just still be figuring it out, and that's okay because like we're just in the time of figuring it out, basically. But well, also, how old are you?
I turned 23 on the 18th of this month.
Nice. All right. So we're the same age. I'm 22 as well.
Oh yeah.
So, but you're about to level up. I like
Yeah.
just turned 22. But yeah, so what do you hope to achieve with your musical career? Like, is this something that you think is like just a phase, or are you gonna be doing this for the rest of your life? Even if you had kids, would you still do it? Like, you know, how do you really feel about, you know, committing to this all the way?
That's great questions, man. Great questions. I feel my position in noise and where I'm at is pretty permanent. Although my starvation cage may not be much longer, like I'm not saying I might retire it anytime soon, but it might not last. You know, it might not last throughout my old age as me getting older. And I might just take on new endeavors and whatnot. But I don't think I'd ever step out of the game or whatnot. I think I'd always linger or
Yeah.
um, as far as shows go, I noticed with experimental music, it is almost impossible to get booked in Sacramento. Sometimes Bay Area, depending on what it is. So I'm pretty sure you've seen on Instagram, I book my own shows. There's no plan in that stopping. We're only getting started. Um, that's I think it's networking. Yeah,
Yeah,
gonna
it is.
network a bit. Yeah, so playing shows, got a couple cool releases coming up, and hopefully we're gonna hit the ground running this winter. Some cool things coming out. Hoping it all goes well though. Hopefully.
It'll go well. The only thing you can do, man, is just, do your best in every single moment leading up to it. And like, dude, you can't, like, there's no point in thinking about, how it's going to actually go when you get there until you actually are in that moment, because like, there's nothing you can do about it until you get into that moment. So it's just like, okay, what the fuck else would I do besides worry about it? Or just be like, you know what? I trust that the flow of life will just go however it needs to go. And when I get there, I'm going to do my best. That's it.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It's that manifestation. You put enough time and energy into something and it happens.
Yeah. That's
We
it,
don't know.
bro. People think that they can sit on the fucking couch and wish for checks in the mail, but like, it ain't like that, man. It ain't like that. You got to actually, live with intention and know where you're trying to go and put the effort into it, and things will manifest. Though
Really.
when your actions are in alignment with your desired outcome, it is straight up supernatural, bro. Like, things just happen. Things
It's
just happen.
crazy how it works out sometimes. I remember telling a buddy like I was stressing out. I needed a venue for a Bay Area show, and I was like, it was back in March, and I was like, I don't think this is going to work out. We're going to have to cancel. I had everything confirmed, just needed a venue, and like I was putting so much thought and effort into this. And that night, I got hit up from a music shop in the Mission District to play, and I was like, it just works out.
Nice.
Just put enough thought and time and energy into something, and it works.
It's natural law, dude. It literally can't not. And if it doesn't, that means that that's the best thing that could possibly happen, because it's like, you don't actually know what the best outcome is. Like, we're not that smart.
Exactly.
Only the universal force like actually orchestrates that stuff and makes it so that whatever's happening is going to actually lead us to where we really need to go.
Exactly.
Seriously, man.
One thing
Seriously.
I'm trying to keep in mind with booking shows, like, I get discouraged when I can't secure a venue, or or a show doesn't happen, and I got to tell some artists like, oh, I can't do this, like that didn't work out, maybe another date. And like it gets, sometimes I get really down in the dumps, but then I started looking at it from like the aspect of manifestation, like, oh, maybe this wasn't supposed to happen, or maybe this
Hmm.
date wasn't going to work out for whatever reason. And like it's helped a lot. And I'm like, it's been keeping my hopes up, keeping me motivated, keep the drive going.
Yeah. That's all you can do, man. That's all you can do. Yeah. All right. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. So, who's someone that you look up to that you've never met, but that you hold on. I wrote down this question. Let me read it.
Okay.
Who is someone that you look up to but you've never met? Who is someone you look up to that you know? So, who's someone that you look up to that you never met, and who's someone that you look up to that you actually know?
Ooh. Someone that I look up to that I don't know, that I haven't met. Ooh. I'd say I don't know his last name. He's from Portland. His name is Jackson. Oh, Jackson. Oh, he's gonna hate me. I can't remember his last name, but he has a project called Commuter, and it's one of my favorite things. Um it's 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 noise music. It's really hard to explain. It's really well done. It's rhythmic, it's dynamic. It's pretty much all just recordings taken from his walks late at night in the downtown Portland area, and it's incredible how well it is. It's like noise mixed with uh the life of downtown Portland, and it's one of my favorite projects by far.
That's so cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Who's
And
someone
then
that you know?
all right, so this is going to be easier. Someone I look up to that I know, Mac Chamey, from the Bay Area. He has projects are Kufar, Terror Cell Unit, and God is War. Recently, I had the privilege of meeting him back in, I want to say it was March. We played together at the Colony in Sacramento. Incredible set by the guy, incredible. I remember, I think I pissed off the promoter. I was like hounding him all day, like, hey, can I play? Can I play? I was like, I need to play with Matt.
Yeah,
And he's like, yes, but you can only play for 10 minutes. And I swear, best 10 minutes of my life. Like I remember
nice.
I was so nervous. I didn't really talk to Mac that much, but just being in the presence of someone like great like that is like, it's awesome.
Yeah. So, what's like a trait of him that you like admire?
His drive, he's been at this for a while, and his attitude towards it. He's someone who does not take disrespect or
Hmm.
people, um, how do I put it? People like talking bad about him, or what's it called? He doesn't let it bother him. Like he's a
He
pretty
knows
much,
his worth.
yeah, no, he's like no fucks given kind of guy, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's dope. So, okay. Share a moment where you failed or got rejected, but you still felt proud of yourself for trying.
Ooh, yes. So when I played my first festival, um, I wanted to come out like I knew what I was doing. I was on top. I wanted to come out like I'm playing this festival, so I'm a big deal.
Yeah.
I remember like 5, 6 minutes into my set, I was slamming the table, I was pounding my gear, and then all of a sudden it just goes quiet. And I couldn't figure it out. I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, okay, I guess I'm done. And then at that moment, I was like, it was humiliating. I was like, it was, but it was something I really learned from. I was like, okay, we're gonna practice, and we're not gonna slam our gear down.
So they literally like shut you down and they just were like, nope, you're not allowed.
I don't think they did. I think I caused a connection error or something, unplugged something, or
Oh.
but yeah.
That'd
I
be that'd be so shitty if they were just like, this music sucks and just like unplugged you.
that's what kind of happened at the Wednesday show. The guy kept turning my levels. He was adjusting my levels when I was playing, and I was like, this is kind of fucked.
Yeah, dude. Me and Nick were talking about that. He came up to me afterwards. He was like, it's too quiet for him. Like too quiet for one of his shows, bro. And I was like, yeah, what the hell?
It was way quiet.
Yeah. It's supposed to be deafening. It's supposed to be
I'm
like, oh God, what the hell is going on?
sure I made up for it in the physical aspect.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Oh man, oh, that's a good one. Okay. If your life was a YouTube episode, what would the title be?
Ooh, man, that's a good one. I say Day in the Life, Gone Wrong.
That's a good one.
Like it's
That's a
like
good
you
one.
never know what's around the corner. It's like you have these plans and you're trying to get there, but shit pops up. You never know. So it's like I'm not gonna say gone wrong like in a tragic way, but gone wrong like I got these side missions I got to do. I got shit popping up. We got shit coming at me from all angles. I got gone wrong.
That's really funny, dude. I actually like that a lot. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you think you understand your own thoughts and emotions and explain it?
Oof. I say like 3 or 4.
Okay. Explain what makes you think that.
I'd say I do and I don't. Like sometimes my thoughts I'd say I have some pretty good ideas and I'm like, okay, I can achieve this. And sometimes I'm like, I have ADHD.
Yeah.
So for facts, I'm like, I have some ideas and I'm like, okay, that's a great idea. Other times I'm like, oh yeah, let me take this fish tank I'm not using, drill a hole into it so I can like put some gear into it, mic it up. And I'm like, okay, this doesn't seem like realistic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's interesting. Well, what would you do if you were gonna drill a hole? Like, I'm interested now.
I don't even think it was possible because I think it was let me see if I have something to it was like about yay big, something I
Yeah,
just kind of betas in. But I was thinking I could drill a hole in the side without it shattering, but I don't think that would be possible.
you can, but like, you'd need a special drill bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
Wait,
kind of noises would you be seeking to make with that?
I don't know. It would be have you seen it would be my idea kind of spawned from the mineral oil PCs. People have the fish tank PCs. So I'm like,
Oh yeah,
let me build a noise setup in a fish tank. It looks like it's underwater, but it's just mineral oil.
that'd be cool, dude. That'd be
I'm like,
cool as fuck.
those are the thoughts I'm like, I don't understand. I'm like, I don't know where this comes from. I don't know if I can achieve this.
Well, there's you're getting it from the universal consciousness, so it's coming from somewhere.
Yeah,
Trying to speak to you. Maybe you're a vessel for this type of music.
maybe. I hope so. That'd be pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be dope.
That'd be an honor.
Yeah, dude. Ooh, if you had $10 million, what would you do? Like, what would you be doing like for the rest of your life, and how would it also affect your music career? Someone gave you 10 mil.
I donate the vast majority of it to um can't think of any places off the top of my head, like homeless shelters, people that really need
Yeah.
money.
You can think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people that need more than I do. But then going down the line, I buy more gear, go on vacation. I'm like, fuck, I'm moving out of California.
Yeah,
Bye
dude.
now.
Yeah.
It'd be, I don't know. I feel like a noise musician with a lot of money, that's endless possibilities because our gear is at least like $200-300 for like the one pedal. So like
Hmm.
that's possibilities right there.
Wow, dude, you could do a lot. You
Yeah,
could do a lot. Yeah.
stockpile some gear.
For real. There'd be you'd have like 10 more new projects.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. The arsenal could like be endless.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Okay. So, what habit would you like to implement in order to make yourself better?
I would like to quit drinking as much. That's something I've been trying to work on. That's
Yeah.
a habit I've been trying to quit.
Well, as someone who used to be an alcoholic and then just quit completely, I do have some advice for you on that. You know, so I used to drink like a lot. Like in 2018, I was blacked out for like the whole year, I say, because like I don't remember anything from that year. And like that was when it was like really bad. And after that, I slowed down a little bit, but every time I did drink, it was like intense. I went hard.
Yeah.
So, you know, you get to a point where you feel like you can handle it and you can like regulate it but like there are just some nights when you just let loose, and it gets crazy and you just don't remember shit and you just don't give a fuck anymore, and
Exactly.
you'll just do it. And I think that if you have a problem, like if you have a bad relationship with alcohol, there's never going to be a time when like that you're never I don't think that you can get to a point where you really truly do have that much of a grip on it and like every night will be regulated. there'll be some nights that are really bad and you can't really stop that. And then like those one nights could just ruin everything. You know,
Exactly.
you just
And
do dumb stuff.
that's one thing I try. That's one thing I try and keep in mind. I've been able to cut down on drinking, which is something I'm really proud of myself for. Like going out, I'm like, I used to be able to like just I'll drink it like water, just down, down, down.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'll stop at like 3 drinks, which I'm really proud of myself for. What was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. My bad.
No, you're good.
But yeah. Anyway, I know when to limit myself. But yeah, there's just this level of it's discipline I'm trying to implement into because I can't just like full on, oh, I'm cutting it out. I'm gotta it's a slow process.
Definitely. And like the way the thought process for me was like, you know, it was my friend's 21st birthday. We went to the casino. You know, I did like everything I wanted to do at the casino, get drunk as hell and smoke cigarettes and gamble, whatever. And like, I, after that night, I realized like, damn, I think I've done everything I ever wanted to do while drunk. I've done everything. Like,
Yeah,
I've gotten drunk at the wedding, the funeral, the casino, the parties, the club, by myself, you know, with friends at night in the street, you know, whatever. Done it all. And it's all, you know, really fun. But after a while, it also becomes like, what's new? Becomes like, okay, every time I do this now, there's nothing new to experience really.
right.
And I almost always regret it. Almost
Exactly.
always. And it's expensive, you know,
Exactly.
it's
And
expensive habit, you know, and I almost always regret it. Sometimes I regret it way more because I did something stupid,
exactly. See,
you
that's
know.
how like the way I was thinking about it after the show, I was really beating myself up for a while. I was telling Nick, I think I told him on the way home, I was like, I'm so mad at myself for falling off the table, and I thought I looked so dumb. And I was like thinking, I was like, had I not drinking that night, I probably wouldn't have gone up there and fallen off the table. But it's like it's all on the level of learning. Like you learn from your mistakes. You know, okay, I can't do this next time. I know what I'm not gonna do. I know if I am gonna drink, I'm gonna have one drink, and it's all this level of learning. It's like a learning curve. It's like you beat yourself up for a little bit and then it's like, all right, back at it.
Yeah. What do you think would happen if you did just stop drinking?
Uh I
Like,
don't
let's
think
say you have the capability to make that decision right now. What do you think would happen?
I
How
think I,
would you feel?
I think I do have that capability. I think it's the aspect of not fully wanting to.
Yeah.
Per se. I don't think anything per se would happen. I think irritation. I'd be really irritable, withdrawals clearly.
Mhm.
Uh, that's about all I can think of. I think I don't really experience anything worse than that. But yeah, nothing I haven't dealt with before.
Yeah, I'll send you this. I'm gonna send you this podcast because, like, essentially how it went for me is like, dude, I had these thoughts of like I don't want to drink, and then that was on August 18th of 2022, and then 2 days after that, my favorite neuroscientist came out
Yeah.
with a podcast about, and then the title was, what alcohol does to your brain and body, and I was like, oh my god, like literally right as I'm like thinking about making this extreme life decision, something that I've never wanted to do before, this comes out. I listened to it and it was the last straw, dude. I was like, oh my God, like this is what alcohol is doing to me. Fuck this shit. Like, you know, I'm done, dude. Because essentially one of the biggest things that got to me is like, he said that when you drink, your gray matter actually shrinks.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Your gray matter shrinks. And like, if you're not drinking, your brain grows at an extremely rapid rate. And a lot of
What?
people don't experience that because they're drinking, you
That's
know?
great.
And like our decision making process is actually affected permanently when we drink,
Oh,
like
I
to an extent. Yeah, it's affected permanently. Like we're literally we programming ourselves to be more impulsive. You know, it fucks your memory over time. And I was like, damn. And he's like, but if you don't drink, all this actually gets better all the way up until you're like 40. And if you continue to be active and eat healthy at 40, it'll just keep happening until you die, you know, until you stop being healthy and active, right?
yeah.
And I'm
You
just
know,
like, damn, bro, like our like we can actually grow our brains. And like,
I
dude, dead ass, after 3 months, actually after like 2 or 3 weeks, I already felt smarter. My memory was better, like
fuck.
extremely better. Like I don't have to try to memorize people's names. I don't even have to try. It
Yeah.
is.
See, that's the hard part. I'm like, what's your name again?
Yeah, dude. So like life actually just becomes easier and you just get happier. Like I feel like once you actually get past like the withdrawals, because there is like withdrawals, and once you know, like, dude, the bane of all existence is lack of knowledge, and if you when you know about what it's doing to you, it like all of a sudden you don't even really have that much of a desire to drink because you're like, dude, I'm balling without drinking.
Exactly. You're like, I'm having a grand old time.
Yeah, and you can still get high, bro. You can still get weed.
Exactly. I mean, I don't think I'll stop smoking weed anytime soon.
Yeah, like I don't smoke anymore because it's just not congruent with my goals. So like if I'm gonna do nicotine or THC, I do it in edibles. Like I'll take edibles like all the time, bro. Like I don't do it all the time, but I don't mind.
Right.
The reason why I don't smoke is because there's two reasons actually. The first reason, the reason why I quit is because when I smoke weed, it's like an instant satisfaction. It's kind of addictive for me. Like you just like you can be like, I want my state to change right now. Okay. So
Literally.
you just smoke and like now every time you're bored, you just do it. And for me, I'm trying to be productive and focused, and it does not help me. Does not
Right.
help me. Right. And so with edibles, you get the option, you have to make a decision. You have to be like, okay, I want to be high right now, but do I want to be high in an hour? Do I want to be high in an hour or 30 minutes? Like, okay, probably not. I think I just want to be high right now and I'm making an impulsive decision. So you don't do it. And you actually have to plan your edibles now. So now it just becomes like a special thing
Right.
rather
I
than, yeah, rather than, you're like, oh, I only smoke on special occasions. Yeah, right.
right. I stopped taking it just for that reason. It's like you want to be high right now, and then it's like you forget you take them, and then they hit you, and it's like, whoa, like where'd this come from?
Yeah, yeah. I love it when I forget them,
I
honestly.
I get so scared. I get so paranoid on them sometimes. I had to stop taking them.
Oh man, I love them. They're great. I just don't do that much. I do like
Yeah,
5, 10, 15 milligrams.
that's a good sleepy dose.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, so same thing with like nicotine. Nicotine is actually neuroprotective and it actually helps your memory and focus. But when you smoke it, it's just all bad because like you're not supposed to really smoke anything to be honest. But like, you know, I'll take Zins sometimes and like I'm actually switching over. I haven't taken any Zins for like at least like a week. But and like it's weird with Zins, with vape, you get like addicted instantly because like you can just hit it whenever. But with Zins, you only get it's like imagine if you could only take 15 hits out of your vape. Like you would conserve it, you know?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah. So with Zins, you only get 15 of those pouches and you just keep it in for an hour and then you put it down. And like that's it. And you don't have to spit or anything. But like I actually found this company online. You can only get them online. You have to like prove your ID and everything, called Knick-Knack Naturals. And it's
oh
like natural nicotine mint. So you still put it in your lip to make it last,
yeah.
but like it's made of literally like all natural organic stuff and then nicotine, like pure nicotine.
Well,
So yeah, so like there's no vaping bullshit, there's no Zyn bullshit because Zyn does have some BS in it.
yeah.
Um, and like, dude, I'm just like, bro, my idea is I'm gonna attach nicotine to my work schedule. So like every time I do something that's focused work or if I'm reading, like I'm gonna attach the nicotine addiction to me working and doing things that are productive. So then I get like kind of addicted to being productive, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
And only do it when I like as a reward. Like you're doing work, here's a treat.
Yeah, that's kind of how I view smoking weed. Like I'll finish a task. I'm like, all right, I deserve to get high now. It's like that reward system.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but the second reason why I quit smoking things is just because like it's not congruent with my goal of being like an athlete and being a runner. Like I run like every day, and when I would smoke and run, like it just is trash. It's awful. So
Yeah, doesn't
yeah,
check out.
don't really want to go back to smoking if I can take edibles and I used to hate nicotine. I used to be like, nicotine's the worst thing ever. You should never take it. But then like I started to be open to like all these new studies that I'm hearing about, and like people that I trust online are talking about nicotine is actually healthy if you don't smoke it. Like it's very addictive. You can't ignore that. But
Right.
like the things that it does, like it protects your memory, it protects your neurons and stuff. Like it protects your brain from aging and decreasing in like your cognitive ability, and it ups your focus when you're trying to focus. I'm like, that's freaking awesome.
That's really insane. I've never had any idea.
Me neither. I thought it was just a degenerate addiction.
Right? I just thought it was some another drug. I was like, just smoking something to smoke.
Yeah, seriously. But it actually does something. So, but yeah, man. Okay, so I got a couple other questions. Oh yeah. So tell me a story that only the closest to you know.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. When I was, I think, like 13, I was living in this house not too far from where I'm at now, maybe like around the block actually. And yeah, so I was like 13 and we just moved in the house, and my parents were constantly fighting, and we had two dogs. And I remember my mom. This is so gross, so forgive me. My
Okay.
mom, she was kind of like a deadbeat, so
Yeah.
she didn't do anything. My dad, bless his heart, he did as much as he could. He tried. But yeah, so yeah, growing up, we lived in this house. We had two dogs. One was a big one was a pretty little lap dog, but they would just shit in the house. So
Yeah.
the house was like this landmine of dog shit.
Yeah. I had a
Uh,
dog like that too.
yeah, and so yeah, anyways, I'm trying to go to the garage because I think we're going to the beach this day, and I'm trying to get my, can't remember what it was. I'm going to the garage for something, and I slip, and my arm goes into this cardboard box, and I just like, my arm just gets all cut open, and it's
Mm,
wild.
yeah.
Never told anybody about this because I was so embarrassed about the dog poop, but it's crazy.
Oh, you slipped on the dog poo.
I did.
Oh shit. Oh my god, dude. Your arm got like cut open? Like how?
I have a scar right there. I've been trying to tattoo over it.
Oh wow.
But
That's
yeah,
crazy.
she's like, it happened, and I'm like bleeding out in the garage, and she's like, oh no, you're fine. Just go lay on the couch.
What
I'm
the
like,
hell?
it's what?
What the hell? No
Like
way.
practically dying almost.
Yeah, dude. You're like, bro, I just slipped on shit and almost died.
Yeah, there is funny. There's another time I used to be really heavy into skateboarding, um, and one time my buddy, my best friend, he rides a scooter, and I was like, I can do this too. It has handlebars. This is probably easier than a skateboard. And I remember there's like a little like a stair. It has only two steps on it. He jumps it, and I'm like, all right, dude, just a little show off. I can do this.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, give me the scooter. I try and jump it, fall and slice my ear open. His mom
Oh
takes
shit.
hospital, and I have to get like 3 stitches in my ear, and then I go back home. My mom is so mad that I got stitches.
Wild. Dude, what if you actually did end up dying and your death thing says slipped on shit?
Right? Right. That's what I was worried about. I'm like, I can't go out this way.
Dude, you should make a song or like an album that says that's called Slipped on Shit or Shit Slipping or something.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
funny. That's funny as hell. Damn. Okay, so what fear holds you back the most?
I think my fear of rejection, my fear of, I'd say, yeah, fear of rejection. I don't, I don't know. I worry too much what people think about me, or what they might say. So I
Yeah.
don't really put myself out there too much. I'd say, yeah, fear of rejection. That's the only one I could really think of.
From my perspective, you say fear of like what people think of you. It's interesting because like the type of music that you've decided to really dive into is music that a lot of people would judge, you know?
It's yeah, I come across as like a pretty nonchalant, no fucks given kind of guy,
Yeah.
but it's like that 121 Pilots song. Like, I give a fuck what you think. Unfortunately, like I'm very I wouldn't say self absorbed, but like I'm very self-absorbed in the aspect of like always thinking like, do I look all right? Are people looking at me? Or like, it's like I'm like, I don't know. And I try not to come off that way because I feel like people can smell fear. So I'm like, always got to seem confident in every moment. Because like, you never know if someone else is like fearful in a room or like maybe anxious or something, and you're confident, it gives them confidence.
Does. It
It
really
does.
does.
It really does.
That aura, bro. That
It's,
aura.
it spreads. It spreads like wildfire.
It does, man, because our brains are transmitters and receivers of frequency. And like you can be on such a strong vibration that it just like everyone's connected to that, you know?
Exactly. It's like it reminds me. It takes me back to a time I played a show, and we're all getting there. We're about to take our gear in for load in, and every one of the artists is all an anxious mess. And it adds this environment, like it makes this atmosphere of like just anxious energy, and no one's feeling confident. We're all like iffy, like, oh, we don't know what to expect. But like, there's been times where like I'll go into like shows and everyone's feeling confident, but yeah, we're a bit nervous, and like the atmosphere is like we're all ready to rock, we're all ready to give it our all. And it's like I don't think people realize the atmosphere we're creating by like our energies. And it's
Mm-hmm.
it's a real thing.
100%. 100%, dude. Yeah. I mean, when you, I think that if you're actually pretty good at doing that, maybe it's faking it. If I don't know if I'd call it that, but like, you know, at least performing in a way that makes you seem like you know what you're doing to an extent. Like, first time I saw you, and even like on Wednesday, like seemed like you had done that many times before, and that you were just like, even after the show, like you're just like, yeah, that's what I do, bro. Oh yeah,
Yeah. And it,
yeah.
it took a while to get there. Like I'll be honest, like when I played that show in Nick's house where we first met, I didn't know what I was doing. I twisted a few knobs to make it. It's like the expression, like yeah, what is it? You look busy. Something about work busy. You look busy to work busy, or something about if you look busy at work, you don't get bothered, so you don't have to do
Oh
anything.
yeah,
It's like if you fake it till you make it. You don't. You're up there. You're just twisting whatever. But now I'm like I've practiced enough, played enough shows. I'm like I feel like I don't have to fake it anymore. I know I'm genuine with it. I know exactly what I'm doing. I can put my energy and emotion into it as much as I want, and can really give it my all now. And I like
yeah. I like it a lot, man.
I took some time off for a while from playing shows to really like craft my performances and my gear and really just like buckle down and really gather the know-how of everything. And like I think I'm almost there. I think I'm tapping into something special here.
Yeah,
I hope at least.
yeah, bro. That's lit. I think that you're gonna do it. I think it's not so much. I think if you make it not so much about tapping into yourself and making it so that you're trying to, that you're helping others tap into what they have. I think it'll make it easier for you.
Exactly, because I feel like listening to noise music, it brings out it's an emotional response. It brings out an emotion, whether you want it to or not. Anger, sadness, excitement, anything. And I feel like listening to that, my music, it can bring that out of someone, and maybe we can build a connection, and that brings them to like starting a project or something. And like, there's just so many possibilities for like listening to this shit. And I'm hoping that me doing the starvation caves or shared suffering or any of my future endeavors may be the reason that someone starts a noise project or gets into noise music.
Well, bro, like I'm doing it, like
I know
basically because you did it, like
I'm honored. That's awesome, dude. I'm stoked.
yeah, and like I just see kind of like, okay, I realized in the last show, like anyone can do this if you know how to make noise on a music thing, like, and if you're passionate about it, you can do it. You just have to get booked. Like that's it.
Exactly.
Anyone
That's
can get booked. Just have
that's
to
the hard
try.
part. So it's like I'll tell Nick, like he has this flux thing. I got my terribly hostile. And we talked briefly at the Wednesday show about, bonking heads coming together, doing a show. And I think that might happen. We're gonna put a noise show together. I haven't figured out where, but it's just like with noise. I'm not sure if you ever went to Nick's shows that he used to throw under the bridge.
Yeah, I went to one.
Yeah, it's crazy. With this genre, it's like you kind of got to do everything on your own. It's like there might be a few venues and people willing to take chances on you, but for the most part, it's like you gotta have that drive. You gotta do everything on your own. And I'd say it's a little bit harder than being in a traditional metal band or like a punk band, because like you gotta really work to prove yourself. Like, yeah, this is like this. I've had like venues respond to my emails about booking. They're like, "Is this satire? Like, this is a real genre?" And I'm like 100%.
That's wild, bro. You got to send them videos and shit.
I do. They're like, I'll include a couple clips, and like they'll see me convulsing on stage, or like I don't know if it's that or the music, like it sounds like a vacuum cleaner, and like it comes off as satire or pretentious, which I completely understand. But I'm like, no, this is real.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. You got to own it, bro. You got to
Yeah,
own it. You got to
yeah,
own it, dude. Like that a lot, dude. I would have never. Nick actually, I do remember how I got put on Nick music or noise music, and it was because Nick, just like told me about it, and
yeah.
we listened to some, and it was like I thought it was shit, and I was like, cool, bro. Yeah, no, I never listened to that ever again. Like, you know, like literally, on the I have a song that actually sounds like noise music that I'll send to you after this. It's like a shitty ass beat, and it just has like weird ass noises in it,
Fuck yeah.
and like in the description it says I would never listen to this again myself. Like I myself would never listen to this twice. But I
I,
do listen to it. Like, you know,
yeah.
but like
I
someone would probably not. Like someone that was just looking for a beat would never listen to it, you know?
I have a couple songs like that. I mean, most of my early discography, I am considering deleting off the internet entirely. I am not a fan of it.
Yeah.
I'll be just between you and me. I haven't told anybody about this. Considering how large Starvation Cage has gotten, I will never tell anybody this. But when I first started making noise, I had no gear. This was the only thing I used was this fan.
Okay.
I would put my oh, I would put my laptop on top of it, and then put my phone under my laptop and move it around, and then bass boost it, and then there you go, you got a noise record. But they're doing this for over a year and having some actual gear and playing shows and having some actual respect for it. I'm like, okay, that's shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a whole file on my computer just on my desktop of unused noise tracks, and it's like just like I think there's like 500 things in there.
Yeah.
All the,
Also, just so you know, this is going to be live on the internet. So if you're okay with me saying posting that, okay.
yeah, dude, that's totally
Okay,
fine.
because you were like, I would never tell anybody this, but I'm going to tell you this right now. We're live, you know?
I'm like, here's my secret.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's interesting because like I think a lot of artists actually have that. I don't know if like just a file with like all their stuff that they don't actually want to put out, you know? Do you know who Mac DeMarco is?
I do. I actually
Yeah,
really like this stuff.
I love him, dude. And like he just released that one album with like all his random stuff.
It's like 200 songs or some shit.
Dude, yeah. It's like a
It's
bunch.
I'd say it's borderline. This might be a really far fetched, but I'd say it's borderline. It could be almost entry level noise music, because some of it's like it's ambient, it's weird, it's like it
Yeah.
has textures, and it can be like that borderline almost entry level like introduction to noise music per se. And I'm like, he's doing something.
Yeah. I like it a lot. I think that he was just like, man, I just need to get this out, whatever.
Yeah, he needs that check.
Seriously. Yeah, dude. I actually have a friend who like met him and talked to him for like an hour. Like
Hell yeah.
just got to hang out with him. Just like so
That
cool.
I
And it's
imagine that.
cool because like he loves Mac DeMarco. Like he like is literally like all the music that he makes now is because like he listened to Mac DeMarco and just got inspired by him.
That's what's up,
And
man.
he got to like hang out with him randomly. He like went to a show where he was gonna be there and just like ran into him into the hall, and they just like hung out.
Is he a nice guy?
Yeah, dude. He said he was hella fucking nice and like wanted to listen to his music and everything.
That's hell sick. I've always been told never meet your heroes, but from my experience, I've only had positive ones.
Yeah. I think that that phrase comes from Hollywood because there's so many like shitty ass real celebrities.
Exactly. I've,
They aren't humble after they become that famous.
I'll be honest. I was scared to meet my role models I had in the noise scene, because like with the aesthetics, it's like it's darker. The people they seem like off putting, and it's like. But I met like that guy I was speaking about earlier, Mac Chamey. I met him. Dude's like the most humble, friendly guy ever. I'm like, not what I expected. I'm like, this is sick.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, last question here,
All
and
right.
then I'm gonna ask probably like actually no, I'll ask like no, this will be the last question. If you could go back in time and speak to your younger self, what would you say?
I would tell myself that it wasn't my fault. I think I was trying
Mhm.
so hard after the divorce, to prove to my parents, like try and get my parents, like I knew they loved me, but I didn't. I think I was trying too hard to, like I was acting out to try and get them to tell me they loved me, or I was doing things. And I for a while I blamed the divorce on me, and I think I'd go back in time and tell myself just to chill, just to be like, shit happens, it hits the fan sometimes, but it had nothing to do with you.
Facts, bro. Facts. I think a lot of people have that when something major happens in their life, they try to get all wrapped up in the solution,
Right.
and really the solution is to just like take it day by day and just do your best with what life gives you instead of trying to like actually solve it because like you can't. I mean, there's not like, and if you try, it's just gonna stress you the heck out because it's just something that's so much bigger than you,
Exactly.
you
I
know?
think one thing I struggle with that is, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Have you tried meditating?
Actually, yes. I've recently just started. I got a gym membership and I started meditating, but I'm not sure I'm doing it correctly. Like I'll sit there on the floor and I'm like, I'll be pitch silent and I'll be sitting in the dark. But I'm like, okay, I'll open my eyes after like maybe like 10, 15 minutes, look around. I'm like, am I doing this right?
Well, there's not really, I mean, there's like a lot of people that show or that say this, but there's like no right way to meditate really, but what it is, like you're doing it right if you feel present in the moment,
Okay.
or if you don't have any judgment for your thoughts. Like you're just observing your thoughts without like, oh, I like this or I don't like this. You just like you see them, and you're like, okay, I accept you. Bye.
Damn. Maybe I
Yeah.
was doing it right then.
Yeah. And just like I've meditated in very noisy environments, like very chaotic environments, like on a subway or, just like in the city or whatever. You can meditate anywhere. Like it's really just about being fully present and not judging your thoughts. And like sometimes you just don't have thoughts. And
Yeah.
like you literally are just like, and you become so aware of your existence, you become fully conscious that like it becomes a whole dude. When you're fully conscious, let me def- let me define that. Being fully conscious, man. It's like you feel everything in that moment and you are aware of like everything that's going on. You feel like you're experiencing everything all at once, which
Damn.
normally you're not because like you are only focused on like one thing and like your attention is on pretty much everything, which becomes one thing, if that makes sense.
Right. That's crazy.
It's
I
crazy.
deeply. I've always like thought of it like, okay, I'm sitting on the floor and I'm breathing and I'm releasing this and I'm really focusing and I'm grounding myself. But it's damn, it's deeper than I really thought.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's deep, bro. I've been meditating like almost every day for 2 years. So like I've had a lot of different experiences. Like I've had experiences where it's like out of body, like I'm in somewhere else, like I'm literally like traveling through space because I had like a DMT blast or something. Not like I didn't take DMT, but like I did special breathing to release DMT, which you can do. Yeah, it's intense, dude. It's
That's
super
wow. See,
intense.
shit
You
you
can
learn.
do it on YouTube for free, bro.
I'll have to look
So
that up.
it's a guided DMT release, bro. It's insane. It's insane, dude. If you do it, if you really commit to doing it, it's uncomfortable, dude. It's uncomfortable. Like when you're leading up to the moment, it's like intensely like it feels like tight, like you're really breathing in weird ways and it's just uncomfortable. You haven't felt this way ever before. And then like they'll guide you, they'll be like, okay, you're now leaving the earth, you're in space, there's stars whooshing around you at speeds you've never experienced before, and like if you actually embrace that, you go there, like you actually go there. And
That
like,
is
yeah, it's crazy, dog. It is actually crazy. So
damn. The shit the mind does.
Seriously. And I've had like, lights and like bursting flowers come out of my like eyelids before. Just like like I wasn't even doing the DMT thing. Just like it's a really good guided meditation.
How much?
And
Yeah,
yeah, there's a lot of it. I could talk about it for a long time, but you just experience almost every meditation can be different, you know.
that's so.
Some
Do
meditations I literally just fall asleep. It'll be right in the morning, like
yeah.
30 minutes after I wake up, I'll meditate and I'll like accidentally go to sleep. And I'll be like, man, fuck this. I ain't meditating right now. I'm just gonna go to sleep, you
Hey,
know?
that's what's when you meditate. Do you usually listen to music, or are you like a silent meditator?
I do both pretty evenly, I feel like. Actually, I think I do silence more than music, but actually what I love meditating to is the river noises.
Yes.
Like rain, river noises, oceans, like water. I like listening to water when I
So,
meditate.
so much.
So amazing, dude. I love it.
That's my
Actually,
sleep.
yeah, I think that listening to water helps me focus. And so like I like to listen to it when I'm working too.
Hell yeah.
Like
You
when
know,
I'm
you
just dialed in.
gotta put a contact mic on the like a sink faucet and turn it
Yeah.
on.
Dude, there's some noise music right there.
Exactly. It's
Hell
always
yeah,
that.
bro. That's what's up, man. Yeah, dude. So, I mean, for the people who are watching, thank you so much for everyone that actually stuck around to the end. But I feel like and give me your opinion on this. I think that, yeah, this was deep, but like, and there was like some pretty vulnerable moments. There's stuff that not a lot of people maybe want to hear, but also I think that a lot of like life lessons that most people couldn't experience themselves because they just never had that. You could definitely extract some lessons out of this episode just because it's like, how do you deal with how do you deal with um like emotional trauma? Like how do you do that? Well, we talked about a couple different ways to do that in this episode. And one of them is just through pure expression of that emotion, you know,
Right.
without without being shameful about it,
Exactly.
you know?
I think whatever works for you, if it's like you feel like starting a noise project, like usually that works. And if that works for you, then shit, go for it.
Yeah. I used to just like make voice notes where I would be like really cussing myself out or something, you know?
I did that for I think up until like a month ago, and I would use those in recordings. I mean, you can't hear them obviously, but they're in there under the noise, and it's like an extra level of like vulnerability because I'm like yelling at myself. I'm like, it's like an audio diary. It's like not per se like I'm yelling, but I'm really like audio. I tell my mom like audio, what is like vocal vomit per se. Like I'm just
Mm.
letting it all out, and then I'll plug it in my mixer, and then just lay it all out on some noise, and it's like pretty much talking to a therapist almost.
Yeah. I agree, man. One tool I always give people is like make a voice note, go on a walk and make a voice note and pour everything out. Pour it all out, dude. And then listen to it afterwards. And you just painted a third party picture, of your situation that you could never see if you just kept it all in your head. And
Exactly.
like, it's so easy to give other people advice when they come to you like with shit, but like it's hard to give your own self advice. So like when you do that, you're like listening to it as if it was like someone else. And you're like, wait, I know what kind of advice I would give myself, like I actually know what to do
Exactly.
to an
And
extent.
I think that's the hardest part is like you know how to help others, but that's the hardest part is showing up and helping yourself. It's like because
That's
in
deep.
in my eyes, I'm not. This might be kind of deep, but because from I don't know, I think it stems from the divorce, but in my eyes, I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of to be in a relationship and be cared for by a woman or whatever whoever I choose to be with. I'm not worthy of that, and I don't know. I couldn't tell you why. I just that's how I feel, and like um, we all deal with that our own ways. And for me, that's starvation cage or the
Yeah.
other problems. I feel like I hope I hope I can make a connection with people and like really dial in somewhere and like help with that.
Well, I mean, I think you're doing it, bro. Like
I'd hope.
I feel like I'm easily entertained but at the same time, like I really pick up on authenticity and like I've never gotten anything but authenticity from you.
I
So
appreciate it. Thank you, bro.
yeah,
Thank you.
I appreciate it too, bro, because like realness is not something that's like always that common anymore. But you know what I've noticed is that in the noise scene, everyone's real.
Exactly. Exactly.
Everyone's real, bro. They're just there to fucking express.
It's like not everyone's gonna be like that level of cathartic. Like no one's gonna be like not everyone's gonna be convulsing and like shirtless on stage.
Yeah.
But almost everyone's gonna have that level of emotion, that level of like you're gonna feel it pretty much. I mean, not always, but there's gonna be like it's gonna be heavy. It's gonna be like there's a cloud on your shoulders, and that's what I try and bring to the table. Like I don't try and make my sets depressing, but I want you to feel like what I feel. I want you to be like me when I'm 12 years old. I want you to go through that divorce. I want you to feel what I'm feeling. Like I'm not trying to make my sets like sad, depressing, Mr. Debbie Downer, but I want it to convey my emotions. You
Hmm.
know, I hope to like be able to create like a if people have questions or need advice, I hope to be able to create a platform where people feel like they are able to do that as well. Like shit, I half the time I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it, and like I hope I can be the reason people do it as well.
Yeah. I mean, dude, maybe you could be like the president of a branch of Flux called Noise Network or something.
I mean, the flag behind me, I don't know if you can read it, but it's
Yeah, I can read it.
terribly hostile collective, and it's like it's where I book shows. It's like I'm trying to start up a label where I'll release not just myself but other artists as well as on tape, CD. But that's just been a problem trying to get started. But right now it's just doing shows, and that's about it.
Yeah. Well, shit, bro. You know who to come to if you're trying to get your money right.
Exactly, bro, and I appreciate
Figure it
that. Hell
out,
yeah.
man. Figure it out, man. I got all the tools for you.
Looking
Dude, literally though, if you get a stream of income, it'd actually be easy. You could start for like $200 a month and start just making progress towards it, you know?
exactly.
But we're not here to sell anything on this podcast. Not
Not
yet.
today.
That's for the other podcast that I'm gonna release. Not even joking. But
Cool.
anyway, yeah. But but yeah, shit, man. Thanks so much for coming on here and actually being real and like sharing shit that
Having
like is like uncovering, just like if there was a wound with a scab on it, we just picked that scab and went in there and licked it.
Thank you for having me, dude. It's been a real honor. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. I'm glad that it didn't feel like a podcast really. We're just talking. So
It was just
like
two
it.
homies kicking it.
Two homies kicking it, bro. We go post it, publish.
Exactly.
Press publish, baby. But anyways, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to this episode, the newest podcast, latest broadcast of Brainstorm Studio. Because after all, this podcast is not free. It does cost your time and attention. So appreciate you for offering up some of your most valuable resources today. And I hope that you got something out of it. Goose, do you have any last message, any golden keys?
There's a show tomorrow in Sacramento, Audio Waffle. It's my early birthday show. There's a bunch of great acts coming from Long Beach, Los Angeles, Woodland. Hope to see all of you, if not some of you there.
Beautiful. How can they find you on Instagram?
Oh yeah, terribly hostile. Just terribly hostile.
No dots or anything?
Oh, just
All right. Terribly hostile. It's also been in the back the whole time. There you go. Boom, shakalaka. Everybody have a wonderful night or day. Take care.
oh yeah.